Hey guys, welcome back to the Social Anxiety Coach channel. I've been away for a while. I was in Japan, Thailand, Myanmar doing some meditation retreats, and I'm back now. I'm in the UK and I'm fired up to shoot some videos for you. I've just been sorting through a load of stuff in my apartment in England, and I have tons and tons of books on social anxiety. So I thought what I would do is film a regular book review for you guys to try and point out some of the useful resources that you can check out and some of the not so good ones that you can maybe steer clear of. So I don't know about you, but over my years dealing with social anxiety, I was very curious about it. I was frustrated and, like at the end of my rope with it. So I was reading everything I could, trying to work out what the hell was going on with my life, why I was feeling so screwed up, why things were such a big struggle. And some of these books were really, really helpful. So the first one I want to go with today is Learned Optimism by Martin Seligman, because this was one of the most helpful books that I picked up. So as with most books, there's only going to be a small part really which is worth the money. And it's the same with this book. There's like a 20% segment that will give you the 80% of your money's worth. But I believe it's worth the price of admission, and it's worth having in hard copy as well, because there's surveys and stuff which you can fill out. What I like about this is it's a very kind of hands-on, it's a CBT little book really. There's questionnaires and stuff like that which you can fill out here. And what I love about this, as with some other CBT materials, is Martin Seligman really knows the sufferers. He knows what SAD is like, what anxiety and depression are like. So the really key part of this book, which absolutely blew my mind when I was reading it, and I'm sure you have had some of these aha moments when you're dealing with SAD, you think that you're crazy, or you think you're the only person in the world that could possibly think in the way that you do. And then you find out that millions of other people also think in this slightly unusual or seemingly weird way, and that it's been documented and researched, and that it's understood, and people have written papers on it and written books on it. So there's a section in this which is all about the explanatory style, and this is a massive thing which I really recommend you get to grips with if you want to tackle your social anxiety. So with explanatory style, there's basically optimistic and pessimistic, and as SAD sufferers we are kind of paranoid and have a massively pessimistic explanatory style. And what that means is whatever happens, you explain it to yourself in a certain way. So if I drive back to my apartment and somebody has parked a car in my parking space, instead of thinking, oh, somebody's randomly come to visit a neighbor and parked in my space, I think, oh, what the hell, this is like somebody trying to mess with me. They're trying to make a statement and say, F you, I can use your space if I want. Somebody's trying to play some kind of mind game with me. We interpret things, very basic things, in a kind of paranoid way. With the explanatory style, what Seligman talks about are the 3 Ps, and these are personal, permanent, and pervasive. And what this means is that when something happens, we say it's all about me. It's personal. The conversation has hit a lull, or somebody has looked away with an unusual, a dissatisfied look on their face. Okay, it's me. I must have done something wrong. It's all about me. Then the second one, permanent, it means I'm always going to be like this. I'm a screw up. I'm always going to be like this. Or, this situation is always like this, always going to be like this. I'm always going to have SAD. It's no good. I might as well quit now. And then the third one is pervasive. And it means I didn't just screw up this conversation, or I'm not just awkward at the supermarket. Everything, I'm a write-off everywhere. I'm a social nightmare. I'm a social leper. I make everybody feel uncomfortable. It affects all areas of my life. It's everything about me. Okay, so these are kind of very blanket ways of looking at things, which are not very nuanced. They're not very skillful, and they're very damaging, and they're very common in all of us SAD sufferers. So I really recommend you take a look at that. Even if you don't buy the book or get an extract of the book or whatever, at least Google explanatory style and the 3 Ps and check that out, because that can start having a very big effect on how you're analysing the world, and you can start implementing that very quickly. And like I say, when I read that and saw it put down on paper, it really blew me away because it was like somebody completely understood me, and I'd gone through life thinking I'm the only person who sees things in this screwed up way, and you're not. There's millions of people that see things in that way, and it can be boiled down to these kind of very concise points. So other things I like about this book, as I said, it's practical. It's a kind of workbook as well. It has surveys. It really nails the explanatory style stuff. And it also goes into like depression, which goes hand in hand with social anxiety, because you get very depressed about these situations going wrong. You're struggling in life. Things which seem simple to other people cause us so much trouble and so much upset and pain that, of course, you have depression as well. So he touches on depression, and it's also very down to earth. He looks at how you can deal with it at school. If you're a younger viewer and you're watching this, he talks about how you can implement stuff in work if you're working age and you're watching this. And he talks about also the pillars of life, all the main theatres of life, he calls it, you know, work, relationships, all of that kind of stuff. So it's a down-to-earth guide. It's not just PhD, pie-in-the-sky theoretical stuff. It's really practical stuff that you can get there. So as I say, this is a great book. I do recommend picking up a copy. I don't have affiliate links or anything like that, so this isn't a plug for the book. But you might not feel that the $10 or however much it is worth it, because there is, as I say, there is padding and stuff in there, or sections which aren't totally relevant. But do check out explanatory style. Try and get a grip on that. And also, you know, optimism, this idea of being negative and pessimistic, and how the explanatory style feeds into that, because I think that is really, really important. I'd never considered that before, and I hadn't realized how negative and pessimistic I was. And obviously, that was part of the reason I was having social anxiety, and the social anxiety was feeding back into that. So it's like a negative cycle. But I'm sure if you're watching this, you will find you're a massive pessimist. And that feeds in also to your thoughts about social anxiety. You're pessimistic. You're watching this and you think, fuck this guy. Who is he? He's probably got some unknown advantage that I don't have. It's okay for him to talk about it. You're pessimistic. You find ways of discounting useful advice. You find ways of talking yourself out of accepting invitations, or you interpret everything in a negative way. Like, that person only spoke to me because they feel sorry for me. And this is all down to the pessimism, you know? So it's a really interesting paradigm shift and a prism to look at the SAD problem through. One of being an entrenched pessimist, because that wasn't something I had thought about myself. And it's all tied in with being depressed and all the rest of it. So check this out. Start trying to be more optimistic. Check out the explanatory style and try implementing that stuff. So let me know what you think about the book or about this video. If you have any questions, any feedback, please leave it all in the comments below and I'll be happy to reply to you. And I'll speak to you guys all in the next video.